Alright, well, greetings and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 Canine Run Episode 3. Alright, as usual, this is fictional and not to be carried out in real life. Now, of course, in this video, we're going to be going to Angel Fire in New Mexico. And I chose to start at the early dawn because my heart felt like it. So here I am in the cockpit of Miss Saba 549er. Checking around, as you can see here. Because that's what I was taught at the glider encampments for Civil Air Patrol was go check around. And make absolutely sure that the airplane is good to go. Or something like that. And this is exactly what I'm doing here as I go from the left to right side. And of course, I have connected the ground power. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the batteries, as you can see here, after a walk around. Oh, what do you know? It's probably a little too dark to judge anyway. But oh well, it's worth a shot. Because I bet you in the real world, I'll be given some lights, or lighting of some kind. If I was to carry this out at all. Yeah, if I was to carry it out one bit. So... Alright, that being the case, I'm going to go back inside. Cabin is dark, nice and placid on the inside. So, right now, placid means quiet, another word for it. Papa, Lima, Alpha, Charlie, India, Delta. That is. At this point, I'm going to break the placidity. So right now, we're going back in the cockpit of Miss Saba 549er. And of course, I'm going up. I'm going to find the battery switches. I wonder where they are. Alright, you can't be checking all day. Come on. Okay. There we go. Having the ground power connected tends to work quite a bit. Alright. I'm going to go let the ground power generate a little bit of power as I look around here to get the aircraft ready to go. Bear in mind there's going to be some bright lights, so watch your eyes at some point in this video. Alright, so I'm turning on everything as best I can. Of course, in good ways. It's still dark in here. Let's get even more lights. There. So, while it's still dark outside, I'm checking around on the overhead panel to see what we got. And of course, I'm letting the external power give some more power to the airplane, because this is a jet and it requires that. Alright, and while I'm waiting for the aircraft to receive some power from the external power unit, or whatever that thing is, I'm going to go ahead and say that the BAE 146 is my favorite aircraft of all the little jets, because I find it interesting that, of course, it's called a whisper jet. And above all, I'm very impressed with that tiny jet. Unlike its noisy whoever else it involved into, like the RJ-85, or you name it. And speaking of which, from the time being I recorded this video, it's fire season in New Mexico, so I'm going to see the Avroliner around in real life, but it's going to be noisier than, of course, the BAE 146. And since this thing was called the Whisper Jet, as I start the APU, or Auxiliary Power Unit, as you might have seen, when I first saw the RJ-85 or whatever as a fire bomber, I'm all like, liars? That does not sound like a whisper jet. Or are they liars? I personally don't think so. I think I just made a mistake in some type of judgment that was when, of course, I saw the Avroliner in fire bomber colors fly overhead. to wherever I might be, such as, of course, certain parks in the Duke. Alright, but in this video, we're transferring another set of dogs for Canine Therapy to Angel Fire, and of course Red River. Reason why? In this fictional scenario, a request for Canine Therapy is on, and I'm using the BAE 146 because I'm just a glory seeker, and I want to, of course, be a promise fulfiller and keep her as best I can. I mean, I said earlier, which is not really seen in this video, that I was going to bring the dogs to them as best I can. And while I'm at it, I'm checking the cabin. Alright, my checks are not quite done yet here, just like any aircraft, like the BAE 146. So the next thing I gotta do is listen to air traffic control information, as well as get clearance to go to Angel Fire. So as soon as I get the visors, because it's still dawn, and the oxygen flowing, I'm gonna put the visors up and get the crew and passenger oxygen flowing. I'm gonna go ahead and listen to air traffic control stuff. At this point, I'll pause recording.
Santa Fe Airport information, Charlie 1200 Zulu. Wind 262 at 4. Visibility, 9er. Sky condition, few clouds at 3,600 feet, few clouds at 7,500 feet, ceiling 12,000 feet broken. Temperature, 15. Dew point, 13. Altimeter, 29er, decimal 92. ILS runway 2 in use. Landing and departing runway 28. DFR aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft read back, hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact, you have Charlie. Santa Fe Airport information, Charlie 1200 Zulu. Wind 262 at 4. Visibility, 9er. Sky condition, few clouds at 3,600 feet, few clouds at 7,500 feet, ceiling 12,000 feet broken. Temperature, 15. Dew point, 13. Altimeter, 29er, decimal 92. ILS runway 2 in use. Landing and departing runway 28. DFR aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft read back, hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact, you have Charlie.
Santa Fe ground Masaba 5 for 9er IFR to Kilo Alpha X-ray, ready to copy.
Masaba 549er is cleared to Kilo Alpha X-ray Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 28 climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure frequency is 132.8 squawk 5517.
Masaba 549er cleared to Kilo Alpha X-ray Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 28 climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure on 132.8 squawk 5517.
Masaba 549er readback is correct. Contact ground on 121.7 when ready to taxi. Good day.
Alright, I'm still not quite ready to go yet, as you can see here. Now, I've recorded this video many times before, and you know what else, of course, irritated myself as well as others, is that if you look out the left, in the cockpit here, there was, of course, a generic aircraft, which looked something like an Airbus A330. And my thoughts were, Santa Fe Municipal Airport can hack an Airbus A330? Well, I see it's possible in the simulator, but what about in real life? And what would the need be? Perhaps, some apocalyptic situation, I guess. I wonder what. I just hope it's not anytime soon. Well, it looks like today we are going to beat generic 4 Lima Hotel. In a good way, of course. Which means we'll taxi and take off before he does. Which means at some point in this recording, I'm going to go ahead and start up the engines. And of course, remove the external power unit and the chocks from that iPad you might have seen from the left, as seen in the video. Alright, the pre-start process continues. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and keep checking the cabin, as well as, of course, the control surfaces, to make sure we're good to go. Alright, I'm going to check the cabin again, make sure everyone's alright. I'm hearing we have a few more coming on board. They better hurry up. Just a few more handlers. Canine those are. And that's it. Alright, I'm going to go outside again to do another walk around, as you can see here, to see how the aircraft is doing. It seems to be doing very good. The lights are blinking, flashing, whatever. And of course, Mesaba 549er is just about ready to go. In fact, this is a simulator, so I don't have to worry about other people all that much. Just some pretense people. And then from there, of course, let's just hope none of the pretense dogs have get their itis and choose to get off the plane, thanks to their impatience. Alright, now that the remaining canine handlers and their possessions are on board, I'm going to go see if I could close the cockpit door now. And let's make sure that the cabin checks are complete too. So at this point, back in the aircraft, and I will request taxi clearance. We're back inside the cockpit now, and I'm checking on the first officer to make sure the first officer's okay. Looks like we got a clearance. I'm closing the door. Narration will pause again.
Santa Fe ground Mesaba 549er with Charlie ready to taxi IFR.
Mesaba 549er taxi to and hold short of runway 28 using taxiway Bravo. Contact tower on 119.5 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 28 via taxiway Bravo Mesaba 549er.
Now, having said that, I'm going to go ahead and start the engines sometime real soon in this video. So right now I'm switching it to number 4. And of course, now I'm going to go to the master switches. And you should hear them start up as we speak. And while I'm starting the engines, I'm going to admit that when I was recording this video the first few times, generic 4 Lima Hotel, the Airbus A330-like aircraft I mentioned earlier, was holding me up. So I basically had to re-record this video a few times because of generic 4 Lima Hotel. Because we were in each other's way, and ATC was saying to hold position, to caution the Avroliner, and they were telling me to caution the generic, which meant it is very confusing. Like, they're telling me not to move and the A330 not to move. They told it to continue taxi and stop. Doesn't quite make sense, so that's why I had to re-record the video a few times, as you can see here. And in my history of videos, that is not the first time I ever had to re-record a video. In fact, there are many videos of which I've had to record a number of times. Even in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. You know, like, sometimes when I'm filming, the aircraft crashes. And you know what I do? I either edit the crash part out and or record that part again. As you can see here, while I'm starting the engines up, this is what was going on. Santa Fe Tower tells generic 4 Lima Hotel this. Generic 4 Lima Hotel, hold position. Caution the British Avroliner on the taxiway. What are you talking about? I'm on a ramp. And then from there, they tell me this. Misaba 549er, hold position. Caution the generic on the taxiway. Generic 4 Lima Hotel, continue taxi. And of course, Roger, 4 Lima Hotel. And then from there, hold position. Misaba 549er. And of course, position and hold, or hold position. Generic 4 Lima Hotel. That is so dangerous and confusing, as I stated from before. So this was in fact a rough flight. In fact it is, but this video is not as rough from the early recording stages. In fact, when I recorded this video, I'm basically Philip from that video called Dinosaurs, a fun-filled adventure in time, or something like that, where he had to come up with a science project and he's like crumpling all these paper balls and throwing them across his room because of some mistakes he's been making. That's basically me versus some of these videos here, but not as bad as Philip. I hope and pray not to be in a pair of shoes as bad as Philip from that one video called Dinosaurs, a fun-filled adventure back in time, made by Golden Video. This video, on the other hand, is something else. This is something I made from, of course, tries and tries, attempts and attempts, vice versa. So as I'm here at Santa Fe Regional Airport, I am, of course, starting the aircraft. I got half the engines, and now I need to work on the other half. Yeah, the other half, as you can see here. So since I'm now starting engine 2, I'm going to go to the master switch, wherever it is. Oh yeah, anti-skid, yaw control, yaw damper, things like that. Let's have those on for sure. For additional safety, of course. I'm looking around here, starting engine number 2, as you can see. Come on, start engine 2. Actually, I'm going to move on to engine 1, which is right here, right now. At least from the time of recording this video. Yes, 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 you're pointing to runway 28. Yeah. I got you. So now, I'm moving the throttle to engine 1. And now the engines are starting. So you're going to hear alarms in the cockpit because, yeah, I'm a glory seeker. I want to fulfill these promises as best I can. No, don't ruin the beautiful dawn. And as you can see here, the dawn is getting brighter and it's getting beautiful. And I felt like operating in those conditions, is why I chose to fly in those conditions. So here we are, again. Turning other things on as seen fit. Do another cabin check. Let them know that we're ready to go. So as seen here, I'm trying to get the door open. So right now I'm going to click the door and let the chief lieutenant know we're ready to go. So we're ready to go. Go ahead and give safety briefing, if you would please. Thank you. Especially because my passengers are canine passengers. They would need a lot of help as they could possibly get. I wonder how that's going to go about. Alright, while safety briefing is in progress, I'm going to go ahead and activate the yaw dampers, as you can see here. And then from there, I am going to go outside, see how things are. Okay, we're doing a control surface check. And of course, the air brakes are moving. And I checked on every angle, as you can see here. Doing the same thing like I did at the past glider encampments with Civil Air Patrols. I'm checking the control surfaces for free movement. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and poke my head in the cabin. Cabin crew, don't mind me. I'm just observing to make sure that you're carrying out the safety demos like you're supposed to. Just like once every so on when the principal comes into the classroom to make sure that everything's alright. Don't mind me, I'm just observing this time. Yes, we're observing. Now the first officer's turn to observe. Oh, sorry for the glitch, as you can see here, because I was using an Oculus Quest 2 headset. Alright. Back in the cockpit. Let's see what else we have to do. Alright, at this point I'm going to go ahead and start the taxiing process. But bear in mind that some of the taxiing process will be cut out due to the length of taxiing. Even though Santa Fe Municipal Airport is smaller than the Duke Cities Airport. There are no tugs, so I'm going to move the aircraft now. Alright, so the taxiing phase is almost done, so this is my emergency plan here. Alright, the takeoff speed is 100 knots. And if I have a failure before V1, I will land straight ahead. I will close the throttle and yield to oncoming aircraft. If I have an engine failure after V1, I will return the way I came in, if I'm not past Fort Marcy Park. And of course, there's a final control surface check, or 2 or 3. Then from there, of course, if I have an engine failure after Fort Marcy Park, this is what's going to happen. I might have to land off airport somewhere, out of nowhere, and I just, of course, hope and pray that this airport will be friendly and is compatible for a BAE 146. I will now request takeoff clearance from Santa Fe Tower.
Santa Fe Tower Mesaba 549 ready for departure runway 28 IFR to Kilo Alpha X-ray X-ray.
Mesaba 549 altimeter 29.9 21262 at 4. Cleared for takeoff runway 28.
Cleared for takeoff runway 28 Mesaba 549.
And again, I am not transgender. I don't know how or why I got a lady's voice there, but you know, I'm okay with the lady's voice. Because this is Flight Simulator, and of course, I have no idea as to how and why I got a lady's voice. And again, I'm not transgender. Alright, so now I'm aligned with runway 28. And by the way, that's my present age from time of recording this video. And I'll be 29er within a month from time of recording this video. Because my birthday is 4 May, and this video was recorded on 4 April. Alright. We're at full throttle. And now, of course, I need to adjust the speed. We're rolling. What on earth? Right ahead of us, there's 4 Lima Hotel. Generic 4 Lima Hotel. If you look out the window, there's generic 4 Lima Hotel. That's the aircraft that was giving me trouble the first few times I recorded this video. Oh my gosh, it's pushing us off the runway. 1. Rotate. E2. Gear up. which means I'm climbing and I need to raise the landing gear, which will happen right about now. Oh, so I did it. At this point in the video, I will pause narration for air traffic control instructions.
Contact Albuquerque Center on 132.8. Good day.
132.8 for Masaba 549er.
Oh, lovely. Microsoft Flight Simulator has all these tips, menus, and of course, 61.29er nautical miles is my destination. Angel Fire. That's what Kilo Alpha X-ray X-ray is. That's the airport I'm going to in Angel Fire. New Mexico, that is. Alright, I'm going to go outside to make sure that the landing gear, flaps, and spoilers are stowed accordingly. Yep, looks like it. That's the beauty of Flight Simulator for you right there. Alright, though air traffic control may be telling you to do certain things right now, there's one thing that I was saying, dude. You know, the aircraft was moving very fast in order for me to respond to their commands, which you might hear in a minute or two throughout my narration. While I'm waiting, enjoy the beautiful dawn, especially even before you came to this part of the video. Now, of course, the canines, their handlers, and everybody's having a good time here. Now, the reason why I use the BA 146 or the Avrojet is because Norway does it, even for domestic flights. The reason why Norway uses Avroliners is because of the fjords and everything. And of course, people in Norway both need and want to be at certain places at certain times, so the Avroliner is one of the answers. I'm about to talk to air traffic control, so I will pause narration for now. Again.
Albuquerque Center Masaba 549er is passing 10,600 feet, descending 9,000 feet.
Masaba 549er, Albuquerque Center altimeter 29er.9er to continue as planned. Masaba 549er, you are 3 miles southwest. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Expect vectors, visual runway tree 5 approach.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Expect vectors, visual runway 35 approach Masaba 549er.
Alright, given my position now with the aircraft, a lot of the narration will pause, even more so. The reason? So I could get this aircraft, the canines, and their handlers, as well as everyone else on board in one piece at Angel Fire. Well, actually, here's a little more narration, but not a whole lot. I go outside, check the air brakes on the back, as well as make sure the flaps are coming down, and check the spoilers to make sure they're actually working. Alright, as we enter the clouds, I'm going to go ahead and look for the Angel Fire Airport from here, somehow, in some way, shape, or form, ethically. So I'm going to go ahead and get the map out. And of course, while we're at it, I'm going to admit that the last time I flew the BA 146, the flaps would not come down, even though I had a yoke. And for some reason, the spoilers would deploy every time I deployed the flaps. Wonder, why is that happening? As we exit the clouds, according to the map I have here, runway 35 should be in sight. So when comes time for me to report the runway in sight, I will pause the video and, of course, narrate at some other points in the video again. So from here, it looks like the waypointer is pointing towards something, and I don't really agree to follow it. And if I look to my left, I'm seeing something like a waypointer, and that very well has to be runway 35 at Angel Fire, at least the airport I'm going to. Well, I take it as a yes, so I'm going right in. I'm taking it as an affirmative. I'm going right for that runway. Dead ahead. Now, soon and very soon, I'm going to go ahead and report it in sight. Alright, cabin crew, canines, canine handlers, prepare for landing, please. Thank you. We are now in Angel Fire. I just need to report the runway in sight. I need to get the air traffic control menu and report the runway in sight, like I said from before.
Southwest 687 climb and maintain flight level 40.
Mesaba 549er runway in sight.
Mesaba 549er, you are 3 miles south of Kilo Alpha X-ray X-ray. Maintain present heading and altitude.
Pull up.
Maintain present heading and altitude.
Pull up.
Mesaba 549er.
Pull up. Pull up.
Kilo Alpha X-ray X-ray traffic Mesaba 549er 2 miles south inbound visual runway 35.
Pull up.
Alright. Angel Fire sure looks beautiful, even as I come in for landing. So as of now, I'm doing exactly as the objectives say to do.
30, 20, 10.
Alright, here we go. Runway 35. We've landed. Alright. We still have a way to go down the runway. I'm taking it all the way to the end. Then I'm turning it. Yeah. It looks even more beautiful than it does Microsoft Flight Simulator X. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 for the time being is excellent. And so is this aircraft. Alright, so I did have to apply foot brakes, and I beg forgiveness for that, because I know that's not really good for the brakes. So from here, I put the spoilers and everything else away. Wow. Right in the sweet nick of time, the aircraft comes to a complete stop and does not overrun the runway. Alright, back inside. We can do other damage assessments later. At this point, we're turning the aircraft left to go to the ramp. Wow, beastly shadow. You look like the Lockheed C-5 Galaxy from here. Referring to the aircraft, that is. Wow. Really does look beautiful from here. Now I really like looking at the grass and of course the weeds here, as well as the trees. It looks so realistic and natural. Alright, as the aircraft is still in motion, I'm not going to select a runway for takeoff. Speaking of which, this goes for all of you, and you all probably might know this. As the aircraft remains in motion, please remain seated until we've come to a complete stop. And of course, whatever else you might hear on the airlines. Yeah, please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop. And of course, canine handlers, crew, and everyone else. Well, thank you for choosing this airline and of course the aircraft from time of recording. Which now leads us to one more thing. Alright, in summary, one of my favorite airplanes is the Avroliner. I like the BAE 146 because it's quieter. Hence it's named the Quiet Trader or Whisper Jet. And of course, I chose the Northwest Airlink for nostalgia. And of course, this aircraft was something my heart felt like flying. And the reason why I do canine runs on most of my airline videos is because Humans are just so nasty. And of course, I want to go ahead and keep this as fictional as possible. No, we have a marshaller out there. Now, I'm not going to follow the marshaller's instructions. I'm just going to park the aircraft to deboard everyone and, of course, prepare for next gameplay. So, alright. Even more so in one more thing. And let's go ahead and deboard the aircraft. And while I'm at it, I'm going to say that it was a pleasure flying the Just Flight Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 for 3 episodes. And yes, it's a great honor and privilege to, of course, do these canine runs and get them to where they need to be as fast as I possibly could. All right, outside looks clear. I'm going to go ahead and put the aircraft ready for turnaround. As I shut the aircraft down, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Cabin crew and canine handlers, prepare to disembark. But go carefully. Alright. Going to the iPad. Ready for turnaround.
Ready for takeoff selected.
So make sure that those doors open.
Turnaround mode selected.
If they should. Yep, one of them opened. Outside, you're clear to deboard. Hey, hold on, go carefully while you're at it. Alright, so this aircraft will be used again by other players, so I trust that the other players will take the aircraft where it needs to be. Alright, make sure you have everything that's yours. Wall check as well. Alright, looking outside. Looks like everybody's getting off the aircraft okay. And time for the next players to take over. Alright, as I check outside once more. Thank you. If you like, please like and subscribe. And of course, comment. And if you have any requests, please make them be known to me. I will work with you. Thank you.